Okay, real talk. Why do some horror movies just hit different? Like a month ago, we went down that folk horror movies that are genuinely scary. Creepy villages, weird rituals, people smiling a little too much. Yeah, nightmare fuel. And a lot of you were like, why does this feel so real? But here's the twist nobody talks about. Those movies, they mess with your environment. But this genre, it messes with you. I'm talking about gothic horror, where everything looks aesthetic until it's not. Big haunted mansions, toxic family secrets, characters who are this close to losing their minds, and somehow you feel like you're losing yours with them. Like, tell me why these movies don't even need jump scares and still leave you staring at your ceiling at 2 a.m.? So yeah, if folk horror made you scared of the outside world, this one is about to get way too personal. Let's get into some gothic horror movies that are actually scary. Okay, so something I genuinely did not know until recently. The Woman in Black, the one with Daniel Radcliffe from 2012 that scared me half to death in the theaters as a teenager, it's a remake. One of my friends told me that you should try the first version of it. The original is so much better. So I finally sat down and watched it. Here's the setup. A young solicitor travels to a fog-shrouded village to settle the estate of a reclusive widow, and what he finds haunting the nearby marshes? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll be real with you, watching the remake first did hurt my experience here. The plot developments are almost identical. The remake barely deviates. So if you're going in fresh, you're lucky. I was not. But here's what I'll say. If you want gothic aesthetic, that lush, cinematic, dripping with atmosphere movie night vibe, the 2012 version wins. It has the budget. It is gothic to the absolute extreme. The original has a much more grounded, realistic look. But, and this is a massive but, the original is scarier. It's not close. Nothing in the remake actually scared me. This one, though, this one has a jump scare that is... Okay, I have to be careful here because I genuinely don't want to oversell it, but I also cannot undersell it. It is one of the most terrifying jump scares I have experienced in my entire life. I physically jerked back. I gasped out loud. My whole body went cold. I just sat there for a second, like, did that just happen? And I swear on everything, I am not being hyperbolic. The creepy imagery keeps building after that, all the way through to the ending. That ending. Oh my God, that ending. So here's where I land. For a genuinely scary movie night, the '89 original. For gothic vibes and atmosphere, 2012. But honestly, watch both. Together, they're a complete experience. Okay, I want to say something that might be a little controversial. We're talking about a remake of one of my all-time favorite horror movies, and I actually think the remake might be visually superior. The Wolfman, 2010. Lawrence Talbot, an American visiting Victorian England to reconcile with his estranged father, gets bitten by a werewolf. But this remake? Director Joe Johnston looked at that source material and seemingly asked himself one question. What if I just tried to make the ultimate gothic werewolf film of all time? And then I think he actually did it. The visuals are out of this world. The architecture, the fog, the Romani camps, every single frame feels like it was built for maximum gothic atmosphere. And the werewolf design, just beyond fantastic. Once the transformation is complete, the creature looks incredible. Now, there is some behind-the-scenes drama attached to this movie involving legendary makeup artist Rick Baker, and it has to do with the CGI transformations, which are honestly the weakest element. There's too much digital effect in moments that should feel physical and raw, but once that transformation is done and he is fully the Wolfman, forget it. The attack sequences are some of the most violent, vicious werewolf kills ever put on screen. I genuinely love this movie. If gothic horror is your thing, this is the werewolf film for you. All right, Satan is calling. Are you coming? The Devil's Wedding Night, 1973. A scholar seeking a mystical ring connected to Dracula travels to a haunted castle in Transylvania, only to find his twin brother already there, thoroughly ensnared by a seductive vampire countess. And yes, Sinners is absolutely not the first vampire movie to cast one actor as twin brothers. This film beat it by about 50 years. Both brothers are played by Mark Damon, who is low-key a gothic horror legend that nobody gives nearly enough credit to. You may know him from Black Sabbath or House of Usher. Here he plays both the rakish, charismatic one and the heroic one, and watching him work is genuinely a lot of fun. This is Italian Gothic vampire exploitation, directed by Joe D'Amato, and it commits fully to the genre. Blood, sleaze, Satanism, atmosphere. It's a kitchen sink Gothic horror film that isn't trying to reinvent the wheel. It just wants to be maximalist in every way possible. More blood, more darkness, more eerie imagery than you'd expect, and I respect that energy deeply. The real reason I wanted to see this, though, Rosalba Neri, who I love in The Devil's Lover and especially Lady Frankenstein, and here she plays a full-on evil vampire, and she devours that role. Now, there is one image in this film that I genuinely cannot show you in this video. I'm serious, I physically cannot put it on screen, but I will describe it because it has lived in my brain ever since I watched it. Picture this, Rosalba Neri slowly rising out of a steaming cauldron of blood, while the most hauntingly eerie music echoes around her. It is Gothic maximalism at its absolute extreme, and I cannot stop thinking about it. The Devil's Wedding Night is not a game changer. It's not trying to be, but it is a really good time, and sometimes that is exactly what you need. I saved this one for last deliberately, because this is the scariest haunted house film I have ever seen in my life. And I do not say that lightly. I have watched a lot of haunted house films. The Orphanage, 2007, a Spanish film about a woman who returns with her family to the orphanage where she grew up as a child. Almost immediately, her son starts talking to a new, invisible friend, and then he disappears. Just gone, and she doesn't know if he's alive or dead. That premise alone, a mother losing her child under completely unknown circumstances inside a place that already holds darkness, is just harrowing to watch. This is not cheap horror. It is brutal, emotional, and relentless. It's directed by J.A. Bayona and produced by Guillermo del Toro, so it has that del Toro DNA, that dark fairy tale weight. The old mansion with shadows that feel alive, and there is a ghost child in this film wearing a cloth bag over his head that is... I'm going to stop describing it, actually. I don't want to take a single thing away from you when you first see it. Just trust me. But what truly elevates The Orphanage above almost everything else in this genre is the ending. I was completely unprepared for it. It was nothing like I expected, and yet it was so satisfying, so emotionally devastating, so beautifully bold. I just sat in silence for a while afterward. If you haven't seen The Orphanage, I'm a little jealous of you because you get to experience it for the first time. It might actually be my favorite haunted house film. I couldn't love it more. Stay safe out there, and if you hear something in the dark tonight, don't look up.